Hey, this is Matt with Let's Talk Music. I'm here with Doug out of New Jersey with the band Huxley. How we doing?
Not bad. How was yourself?
I'm doing good, man. So, what part of Jersey are you from?
We call it South Jersey. It's kind of more Philly area, South Jersey. So
Mm-hmm.
we definitely kind of connect with that. But we're kind of based out of Williamstown, Millville area, somewhere in that realm.
Okay. Yeah, I had family that lived in New Brunswick.
Okay, yeah. That's
Yeah.
a little northern,
Right,
but yeah,
right.
definitely.
Yeah, used to go out to Jersey a lot when I was a kid. So, born and raised there.
Yeah, born and raised, born in actually Philly, but raised in New Jersey. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
So, Huxley, is that how did you come up with that name?
It's honestly, unfortunately, a pretty boring story. It just it was the street that we were practicing on, and we really liked the street name. We just thought it like we really liked the X. We thought it just kind of sounded good. And our drummer at the time was a pretty well-read kind of guy who liked the author Aldous Huxley. So
Uh-huh.
it just kind of worked.
Nice.
Yeah.
Uh, so I listened to some of the songs, What Have I Done? Hate Me, Flesh and Bone, Second Chances. Love the vibe, man. You guys sound great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been an uphill battle since the start. We came out kind of right as COVID hit,
Mm-hmm.
so it kind of put us on pause for a while, and so kind of this next go around with those songs you mentioned, "What Have I Done," "Hate Me," "Second Chances," "Flesh and Bone." That's kind of like the real Huxley, I would say, kind of the real sound that we're going for. So.
Right. I know on Hate Me, you almost got an Adam Gutierrez sound to you from
Uh,
3 Days Grace.
yeah. Thank you. That's a high honor, honestly. Yeah, like 3 Days Grace is somebody that we kind of definitely emulate.
Mm-hmm.
As same as like Breaking Benjamin, Shine Down. The Hate Me was like a really fun song to do because we actually recorded that with the producer of his name's Kane Churko. He produced his Five Finger Death Punch.
Okay.
Uh, so we actually went out to Vegas for that one and kind of worked with him on that song. So that one's just like a really special song for us because that gave us kind of that opportunity to really branch out in a different way. So
Nice. So, being from Philly or the Philly area, I mean, you guys probably play some pretty cool venues out that way. I mean, I know there's a lot of old historic ones.
yeah, because Huxley's so young, we actually haven't had a ton of chances to play a lot of shows yet. So when we were in other bands, we got to play the shows like the Trocadera and the legendary Dobbs, and
Hmm.
um, so actually right now we have a show coming up at it's a Camden venue. It used to be called the Tweeter Center, and now I think it's like Freedom Loan Center or whatever. Where it's so the big radio station out here, MMR, throws a show every year, and so we're opening for like Disturbed and Pretty Reckless and those kind of things this Saturday. So, um,
Awesome.
yeah, that's the coolest venue I've ever gotten to play, and we're really stoked about it. It should be a good time.
Yeah. So we have one like that out here in Columbus, 99.7 The Blitz, and they're getting ready to start their summer concert series. That it's like Hailstorm and a few other bands, but yeah, they throw a lot of stuff around here. Them and QFM 96, that's our classic rock station. Of course,
Hmm.
now classic rock is what I listened to as a kid. I'm kind of bummed about that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so funny because like rock in general has really seemed to like taken a back seat in kind of the modern music era. But
Mhm.
like the rock bands that are coming up right now, like that, those classic rocks will be the new fad soon. I believe it. We're right there to bring those like AC/DCs and Foreigner and all that kind of good stuff. That'll all be back soon. So.
Right, right. Yeah, and I've talked to, a lot of the bands I've talked to that have started, they were starting during, well, not really during, but before COVID. And, they kind of was able to hit the ground running and then smack right into a wall,
Yep.
and it's seemed to bum some guys out, but a lot of guys that I've talked to were like, man, we really got to sit down and, write some quality music. And, this is something you couldn't have done, like 30 years ago, because, I got this member in this state, this member in this state, and, he can email me tracks, I can email him this, blah, blah. And I mean, so in a way, I know a lot of people say that it kind of devastated music, but I feel like, I'm not a musician and didn't go through that phase, but, I feel like you guys were able to get a lot more creativity out, and I would say a lot more quality creativity.
Yeah, I mean, you make the perfect point, right? It was kind of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of scenario where there's just like, just like you said in the beginning, we lost a couple members during it. One of our guitarists had a kid, beautiful little girl, and great thing for him, and he's still our friend, but he had to step down, but it
Right.
allowed us to work with our producer, who's now our guitarist, Chris Kelly, who plays in Nice Nine Kills. Allowed us to work kind of more closely with him to the point where he's like, you know what, I think I want to join this. I think I want to be a part of it. And so having that opportunity allowed us to do exactly what you said, where we all kind of worked at home, worked on things, files shared back and forth, and we were able to create a lot of great songs just in that opportunity. So, we had, losing members, but then, we lost our drummer. We picked up Bill, who's a phenomenal drummer. Matt and Mike and I still, stuck around, and we were able to kind of work with everybody. So it wound up working out really well, even though we lost, members along the way.
Right. I'd actually like to see the tally of how many kids were born or conceived during COVID.
Yes, yes. It's
'Cause-
that statistic has to be wild.
right. I mean, because I mean, it was horrible, man. I mean, my day job, I drive a truck. I do pickup and delivery, not around town, and we were not able to stop. We was out on the front lines, and it was you got to see a lot of the devastation it caused. You
Yeah.
got to see the companies that were shutting down, the companies that went out of business. There were people that were mourning coworkers that had passed away from it. I mean, it was a horrible time, but I mean, I think in a way it always takes some kind of disaster to make things better. Now,
Yeah.
economically, we suck, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think as a people, not everybody, but as a general people, and as a definitely the music community, like I said, had the chance to really kind of say, okay, we can't get out and play live shows, we can't do this, we can't do that, but let's just sit down and pound out some tracks. And I mean, I said I've heard some great stuff, and it's been from guys like bands that are independent, and bands that are smaller. I've actually talked to one guy that said he feels like music nowadays is manufactured.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And, it's interesting because, like, it also allowed us to reevaluate how we went about it. Like, if you look at our first EP, things like Evil and If I Ruled the World, and those kind of songs, Progression,
Hmm.
they're all really good songs and we really like them. But like those four that we mentioned in the beginning, like that only happened because we had the chance to sit down and go, what did we do right in these songs? And
Hmm.
how do we change our style to make sure that we're hitting the good things about the first EP? And really focus on that. And it wouldn't have happened if we were forced into a tour or forced into, doing this, that, or the other thing, because then you don't get time to think about it. So, exactly right. Like all this devastation around also gave us the chance to sit back and go, but what what can we do right? Like how
Hmm.
can we do this the right way?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I know it had to be frustrating. It was frustrating for a whole lot of people, but I mean, it's like I've said to other musicians or artists that a lot of people they don't really look at you guys as like this is your job. This is how you make your living. It's more of you're larger than life, and they want to meet you, they want an autograph, blah blah blah. It's but it is. It's your livelihood, and I mean, you make your money off of promotions. You make your money off of album sales. I mean, not so much anymore, but
Yeah.
concerts. And all that just stopped. I mean, there was guys that were I know that were in like very large bands, signed mainstream bands that were actually working part-time jobs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, our guitarist Chris Kelly, he wound up, doing some DoorDash in the meantime just to tide him over, and it, what a bizarre world, right? When you're touring the world and thousands of people screaming at you, and then like you're knocking on a door, just handing somebody their McDonald's, it's like, and just like you said, like that difference of losing your livelihood just like that is such a huge hill to overcome, and like I don't think a lot of people grasp like how important it is that music's back. Despite, COVID still being around, despite it
mhm.
still having its problems, the fact that it's still back, like everybody should really, you know, appreciate that because it helps so many people to have just have this outlet.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I actually wrote a blog once about it was called "How Does Music Make You Feel?" And kind of just went through like different scenarios of like it can make you feel sad, it can make you think of a memory and laugh, it can it's just a lot of people I think don't realize the power of music. I think most people like, okay, I can dance to this, or yeah, man, I can mosh to this or whatever.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying people are dumb. I'm just saying that, to me, I've always kind of looked for the meaning in the song. And, I've, it's made me feel a certain way. I mean, there's songs that I can listen to that I listened to, 15 years ago that still give me goosebumps.
yeah,
And that's a powerful thing, man. And it's much appreciated that there's guys like you and your band, and other bands that say, hey, this is I'm doing something that I love, and it can actually change a person's life, or make a person feel better.
yeah. I appreciate that, especially because when we came back to it, like our big thing was how do we how do we talk to people more, right? Like, uh, uh, just like you said, when music went away, that was a huge hole in everybody's like hearts, where you're just like, man, like that was something I just kind of took for granted, that there was always something new coming out that spoke to me in some way. And so like every song that we write, it's so important for us to really get a message across, or a feeling across, or a line for you to hold on to. Like Flesh and Bone is all about being a human, in the grand scheme of things, of like, you don't need to be a superhero. You're okay with just being a human. And sometimes that means it doesn't work out, and sometimes it means it does, but like it was so important to have that message in that song, and for people to sing along, or grasp something like that out of it.
Right. So, I mean, what got you into music?
A couple different things. When I was younger, I loved singing in the choirs. Um, Me and my cousins always used to like perform and put on little shows and stuff like that. So I love that kind of performing and things like that. And then my grandfather got me a piano, and so it was this older upright piano he found I think just like a yard sale kind of thing, and he brought it to my house, and I got to play on that, and learn. And then after you get into so many of those scenarios, it's just like I love this. Like I can't be without this. And so every day I would come home and plunk on the piano and try to make a song, and my mom would tell me that I'm being too loud because it was always way too late at night and I'm slamming on the piano. But, like it's definitely those moments of just like childhood, and the support that my family has given me. And
Right.
that's 100% how music came about for me.
Yeah, and I mean, I get where you're coming from. I mean, I drove my mom nuts with some things too. I played percussion in middle school. She brought me a guitar one year for my birthday, and I think she kind of regretted that one. But um, I was
At least he
more
went to drums, right? Like,
right. I guess I don't think I had a good teacher. I don't think I had a whole lot of patience for it at the time because when I got my guitar, this is the era of people like you know CC DeVille and Don not Don Dokken but George Lynch and Warren DeMartini from Rat. I mean these
mhm.
guys are out there shredding, and I'm like, why can't I learn how to do that? It's supposed to come to me instantly.
Yeah, yeah, it's so overwhelming. I mean, and that's something. I mean, what you said about having the proper teacher, that's so important, right? Like, I've had there's a handful of teachers that I could kind of list off right now, and I'll stick with one because I literally talked to him yesterday.
Hmm.
I still talk to him. He was kind of my first real vocal teacher where I came in, it was just about piano. And he kind of asked me, he was like, what are you into? What do you like? And I started talking to him and he said, you know what, man? He's like, I know you're here for piano and we'll work on that. He's like, but you want to be a rock singer. Like, that's what you want to do. And he's like, so let's do that. Like, let's have fun. Let's do that. And to this day, right? Like, whenever I have a problem, the pollen in New Jersey is horrible, and I'm supposed to sing an outside festival on Saturday. So
Right.
I, so I call him and I'm like, look, the pollen is caking my vocal cords. Like, it's killing me out here. What should I do? And he was like, oh, very simple. I have these sprays and things like that. And we just started chatting, and like, he's always got something to say to help me along, and having somebody like that to really drive, that passion. And if you had somebody when you were younger, it's like, you don't need to be a shredder just yet, let's get you there,
Right.
maybe we'd be having a different conversation, but his name's Gene. I give him a little shout there, but Gene, he's actually getting married the same day I'm doing this show, so
Oh,
uh,
nice.
yeah. But guys like that, like having that opportunity of those kind of influential teachers, um, what a difference it makes.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of had the mentality of, I wanted to be like Eddie Van Halen, self-taught and whatever. And, you know, my household when I was a kid was not really a huge, music house.
Okay.
I grew up on MTV, so I learned a lot of it from that. And then I'd say, hey mom, there's this new band out I want to check out, or this somebody told me about this band, will you take me to get a tape? And she was always supportive, but it just, I don't think, I think I was more interested in, should I know, I was more interested in girls at the time than anything.
Yes.
So
They'll get you
playing
every
guitar kind of
time.
huh.
I said they'll get you every time.
Right. Playing guitar kind of took a back seat, but I mean, I don't, I can tell you right now, I don't care. The greatest coach in the world is not, I am tone deaf. I'm a horrible singer, but, after a few beers and Jameson tunes, man, I sound like Steve Perry.
Yeah, yeah, you're belting it out.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because in my band alone, right? Chris Kelly is somebody who did a lot of like lessons on it and very well practiced and knows his stuff. And then Mike, our other guitarist, is somebody that was self-taught and he did a lot of things by ear. And he maybe he watched the YouTube video here and there, but and it's so cool to see those different styles that can come out of that. So
Hmm.
going the self-taught route is not the wrong route because you can still be an incredible guitarist that way. Like Mike is unbelievable, and it was all self-taught. And now that he's older and we're kind of doing this, like he's definitely more receptive to learning something and getting taught by somebody else. Chris can give him some pointers and just different fingerings and things like that to kind of make a chord easier or some sort of lick easier to play. But other than that, like self-taught works sometimes, if you have the drive, if the girls don't get too distracting, those kind of things. So
Well, and I think now it's probably a lot easier.
Yes.
because you
YouTube.
have the internet, you have YouTube, you have people that actually do, you know, they'll show you the stuff in slow motion, you know what I mean? And then they're like, okay, now I'll try to, a little faster, whatever. Or, you can watch somebody, as they're playing a song and you can pause it and you can try it and then put it all together. Back then you didn't have that.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, I had friends that, two friends that play guitar that, can read sheet music. I never learned to read sheet music.
mhm.
I did for a snare drum because, like I said, I mean, I was in percussion, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely, music's always been a huge part of my life. Again, mentioning my mom, she's walking through the living room right now, so I just figure I'd give her a shout out. Mentioning my mom,
Yeah.
she used to tell me that if I paid as much attention to school as I did music, I would be an honor roll student.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I did. For some reason, man, I don't know if it's like a neurological thing. It's where I was able to retain the smallest bit of information about a band or, even a band member. And I'd get into school and be like, you know,
Right.
so that's, it's always been like a thing of mine. It's always been kind of a dream to get into the music scene somehow. And it actually came at the suggestion of my wife. She says, hey, why don't you start a blog? Well, I'm kind of one of them guys that, go big or go home. So I'm like, well, I'm going to find out if I can meet some, musicians and talk to them and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I mean, I've hooked up with a few publicists now and, I've, talked to, in the last 3 weeks, I would say 30 bands.
Whoa.
So,
That's
I mean,
impressive.
yeah, one day I had 4 interviews in one evening. So yeah, it's
Man,
kind of,
that's insane. That's
yeah, but
amazing.
I'm loving it, man. I mean, it is. It's really cool to meet new people. It's cool to meet people that are like me that
Mhm.
want to talk about music. It's cool to again see all of the talent that you don't really see because you guys are not mainstream. Like I had never heard of Huxley before, but then Tom sends me this press release and I watched the video and I'm like, oh man, I like these guys. you know
Like,
so it's kind of opened me up to a whole new world.
yeah, and especially like now with how, just like, we linked up with Tom, just that one connection, can branch you out to so many different things. And, like back in the day, like if I wasn't touring, or if I didn't get my, cassette into the right person's hand, like what was I doing? You know what I mean? Like I was playing in front of two people, and so like
Right.
now we have this opportunity, which admittedly makes it a little harder, right? Because now there's everybody is capable of doing it, which is awesome. I love
Hmm.
that. I think everybody should make music. Like whether or not it's good or not to your standards, if you want to make it, make it. Like that's what music's about. That the ability to share. But yeah, I I can wake up one day, look at my, Spotify art. Spotify has like an artist page where I can see my streams and stuff, and I'll see that like our top countries are Canada and Germany, and and these are real listeners.
Hmm.
People that found us off playlists and are saving us on their playlists, and following our band, and reaching out to us, and we're getting messages in different languages, and I have to decode them, and well, not decode them, I guess that's rude. Translate them, and then write them back, and and what a crazy experience, getting a message from somebody in Germany who's like, hey, I found your band off of this playlist, and I absolutely love it. It was great, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, thank you. I hope I can come to Germany sometime. That would be awesome, So
Right.
it's just wild.
Well, and I've always said that music is a universal language.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter, especially nowadays with technology. I mean, you know look at the K-pop bands. you know my daughter and my stepdaughter, they were huge into BTS,
Hmm.
and you know, they're sitting there speaking these words in Korean, and I'm like, wow,
Where'd you
okay,
learn Korean?
right. So you're learning a new language through a band,
Yeah.
you know, and it's great. I mean, I actually, as much as I try to make fun of them for it, I actually liked a couple of their songs.
Yeah, they're
You
catchy.
know, so but yeah,
Don't
man,
don't you hate it when it's catchy and you're like, man, you got me. You got me on this one.
I know that was some of her songs when she was younger. I mean, oh, what was the one with Harry Styles? I can't remember. There was like five of them.
If you say watermelon sugar, I implore you to go back to our YouTube channel and watch that one.
No, no, no. It was the band he was in before that.
Oh, I'm sure there's somebody that's going to listen to us that's screaming at their computers right now. It's going to
Right.
happen.
But
Oh.
uh, anyways, they
Yeah.
had this song called
Quick Google search.
What Makes You Beautiful? And it was catchy. And I'm like, huh. Oh, he's doing Google search.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's going to drive me nuts too. So,
Oh, what is this? This doesn't make any sense. It's not giving it to me.
let me try it real quick. I'm gonna try to
Okay.
Google the song. I know they're in their rooms right now because I'm needing silence, and I'm like, they're probably in there like going, "Oh my God,
Yeah. One Direction. There
One
it is.
Direction." Yes,
Oof.
thank you.
That that was a rough one.
Yeah, and they were huge back then, and it was just like it would not connect, man. And I guess it's kind of something that's happening that I'm older now.
Yeah.
That the connection fails sometimes,
Hmm.
but whatever. So, you guys gonna be making your way out towards Ohio anytime soon?
We really want to. One of the big things, so we have two pretty big shows coming up. We have this one with the MM Barbecue, and then we are actually opening up for Lit in my current hometown, Millville.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then after that, kind of our slate is kind of open. We are playing the legendary Dobbs again in Philly, but we're actually trying to work out. We're trying to find a band or two to set up a tour. So our hopes is to get out that way. If you know any bands that are looking for tour mates, that's definitely our direction. And trying to make something like that happen.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we got quite a few local bands around here. I'm not quite sure what they're doing at the moment. It's like I said, I've had so many interviews lately. It's been very busy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, I've been loving it, man. I mean, and I've gotten to do, a couple big ones. I did one with Tommy Vex from Bad Wolves.
Oh,
Uh,
nice,
did one with Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin.
nice.
I got one coming up tomorrow with the lead singer from the band Steelheart. I don't know if you remember them or not.
Steelheart. I don't.
So they sang that song "I'll Never Let You Go."
Okay. All
He
right.
had
There
a
you go.
real high voice.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
that was
never let
actually,
that
yep.
one. Yeah.
And it's just interesting because I'm one of my biggest concert memories is we went and seen them in Lynch Mob, which was Mick Brown and George Lynch of Dokken and two other members. And my buddy's brother played drums, and Mick Brown was walking down the street, and he's like, "Hey man, can I get an autograph?" And he was like, "I ain't got time for you." Was he said that the drummer from Steelheart was walking out and heading into the bar next door. He's like, "Hey man, you guys want to come hang out with us?" And that was like one of my greatest concert moments ever.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, man, I'm in here, underage and drinking, with a band. And, it was just, yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, man, well, I appreciate you talking with me.
Yeah.
And,
Thanks so much. This was awesome.
and I, would love to see you guys out here. I say that to everybody because I really would,
Yeah.
rather do an in-person interview any day, or even just come see a show. I get photo passes and stuff too. So, I can get some pictures, put you up on my website, whatever. But yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, and I'm not opposed to traveling. It just matters, Jersey's a little ways from here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, if you ever hear of anything or anybody, kind of looking for a touring act to come through, definitely. I think you have our email, so definitely hit us up and let us know. Give us the skinny of a good venue out there, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a few good ones. So, but yeah, man, I'll go ahead and let you get to your evening. It's getting a little late. So again,
Yes.
I appreciate your time and best of luck to you on Saturday, man. Hope you have a
Thank you so much.
blast.
Thank you so much, and thanks for taking the time, man. I appreciate it.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Bye bye.